What's going on, dudes? Lebensmute here. Do you remember Cleric? No, not the class Cleric. This Cleric. The one who made these awesome class mods for DOS 2. Guess what? We're back with another subclass overview of the Bladeweaver created by Cleric. The Bladeweaver is a subclass for the Sorcerer that brings in elements of the Paladin class to diversify an already dense spellbook. At the time of this video, this subclass now supports multi-classing. However, you probably won't need to. You can level all the way to 12 as the Bladeweaver and gain access to the maximum allowed spell slots, level 6 Sorcerer spells, and most of the Paladin spells up to level 5. The great thing is, you don't have to worry about an oath that may break at any given moment, especially if you're playing as the Dark Urge. Your Paladin lineage gives you the benefits without any of the downsides. For this subclass, you immediately gain proficiency in light and medium armor, shields, simple weapons, and martial weapons. You can also choose an additional proficiency for heavy armor at level 1 if you want, as well as 2 Paladin spells in addition to your normal Sorcerer spells. More Paladin spells are learned at every odd level, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. At level 1, you gain one of the hallmarks of the subclass, a passive ability named Spellweaving. With this effect, casting a spell grants you a buff that applies your charisma modifier to your weapon attacks and lasts the amount of turns based on the spell level you cast. A cantrip causes the buff to be removed at the end of the current turn, while a level 1 spell adds an additional turn for you to punish your enemies. Casting spells in succession only extends the buff timer. Keep in mind that spell weaving is not exactly similar to Pact of the Blade Warlock, switching weapon damage to be based on charisma. This only adds the modifier to your weapon attacks. You will still need to invest accordingly into whatever attribute your weapon utilizes, whether it be strength or dexterity. Totally your choice. At level 2, you gain another passive benefit called Smite Weaving. One time per turn, casting a single spell you learn through your Paladin heritage and hitting the target regenerates a single sorcery point. Very useful when needing to use your meta magic or when using the next feature you gain with the subclass. At level 6, one of the more important features of the subclass is received, Blade Weaving. This passive allows you to make a weapon attack by consuming a sorcery point after casting a spell that requires an action point. For example, you can channel the energy beams of the sun into your foes and then strike them with your weapon should they remain standing. Or you can simply dust them with a fireball and follow up with a quick swing. Note that you can cast 2 smite spells in a turn with this feature. At level 11, you gain the final passive feature of the subclass, Enhanced Spellweaving. When under the effect of the Spellweaving buff, your weapon attacks deal an additional 1d8 damage of your choice based on the toggled passive similar to the Way of the Open Hand Monk's Manifestation passives. The damage you can apply follows your sorcerer abilities with fire, cold, or lightning damage, or follows your Paladin blood with radiant damage. Remember to activate the passive once it is learned. It does not automatically toggle upon reaching level 11. The biggest benefit of the Bladeweaver class is the tanking capabilities while still maintaining all of the powers of a sorcerer. Being able to follow up your spells with a powered up weapon or smite attack is invaluable in close quarters where enemies tend to venture. If you want to live out the fantasy of being able to reliably misty step into a crowd of enemies and then cast a devastating destructive wave, followed by a swing of your melee weapon, then I highly recommend trying out the Bladeweaver. You won't be disappointed with your party face being charismatic and persuasive, undeniably durable, and gifted with magical talents and martial prowess. Thank you all for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.